Okay, so imagine this scenario. You've just realized, oh boy, you need to tell your boss about a mistake, a costly one your team made.
Oof. Yeah.
Or maybe on the flip side, you've got genuinely exciting news. Like you got that promotion,
Right.
but you know one of your colleagues, maybe they've been struggling and they might feel, well, jealous.
Right. And that feeling hits you, doesn't it? Your heart starts racing.
Palms get sweaty, yeah. And the big question just hangs there. How? How on earth do I say this in English without completely messing it up?
That feeling, you've nailed it. It's honestly one of the toughest parts of communicating in a second language.
Yeah,
It's so much more than just finding the right words.
it really is.
You're juggling these complex emotions, cultural expectations, those really important relationships, work, personal.
Mm-hmm.
And all the while, your brain is just working overtime trying to string sentences together correctly in English.
Absolutely. And it's not just about being fluent, is it? Whether you're sharing good news or, let's be honest, especially when you have to deliver bad news,
Yeah, the bad news is tough.
it demands this really delicate balance. You need honesty, but also empathy, and you have to be aware of the cultural side of things.
Exactly. And what we've seen, looking at so many of these situations, is that getting good at these moments,
Yeah.
well, it doesn't just make you a better English speaker.
No, it goes way beyond that.
It truly changes how you operate.
Yeah.
Makes you a more insightful leader, definitely a more thoughtful friend, honestly, a more effective human being all around.
Which is precisely why we're doing this today. Our mission is to really dive deep into what we're calling the art of difficult conversations.
We're going to, pull back the curtain a bit on the psychology of how we deliver news.
And we've got some fascinating real stories, too.
Hmm.
People who successfully handled some incredibly tricky situations. Plus, we're going to lay out a practical framework.
Yeah, a framework that actually works whether you're sharing good news or bad news.
Right. Joy or disappointment.
And here's a really cool part. We'll even reveal some of those, let's call them secret phrases
Ooh, intriguing.
that native speakers often use, to soften the blow of bad news or maybe amplify the good stuff. Plus, those crucial cultural nuances that can genuinely make or break these conversations.
So if you're maybe gearing up for a performance review or you need to have a tough chat with a friend,
Or even if you just want to feel more confident, more in control when things get emotionally charged.
then this deep dive is absolutely for you. It's designed to really transform how you approach those moments. So let's unpack this.
Okay.
A situation came up not long ago with a student of mine, Ahmed. It really brought this home for me.
Okay.
He's a project manager, originally from Egypt, working for a tech company here in Canada. And he was in a really tight spot. His team had just missed a critical deadline.
Oh, no. The classic scenario.
Right. And he needed to tell his boss and the client. When he talked to me, he was just completely paralyzed, just terrified of delivering this bad news in English.
Oh, I can feel that. That fear of being misunderstood, it's huge.
Mhm.
You know what you want to say, right? You want to convey responsibility, respect.
Exactly.
But finding the right English words to capture that emotional nuance, it's incredibly difficult. What do you think is the hardest part of that feeling?
I think it's often that disconnect. In your own language, you feel competent, articulate, but in English, suddenly you feel like a kid trying to explain, why the vase is broken.
Yeah, that loss of confidence.
Ahmed kept saying, in Arabic, I know exactly how to do this. Be respectful, take responsibility. But in English, I just freeze.
So what did you work on?
We focused on something I call cultural cushioning, basically preparing people for the tough news while still showing respect for their feelings.
Cultural cushioning. I like that.
So we practiced phrases. Instead of just blurting out, we failed, we worked on things like, I need to share some challenging news regarding the project timeline.
Ah, okay. Setting a stage gently.
Exactly. Bridging that gap between what he intended responsibility and how it might land.
That makes sense. So how did the actual conversation go? What was the outcome for Ahmed?
It was actually amazing. He started by saying something like, I want to be transparent about our project status.
Okay, good start. Honesty up front.
Then he calmly explained what happened, clearly took responsibility, and this is key, immediately presented potential solutions.
The what's next?
And his boss actually thanked him for his honesty and professionalism.
Wow. Thanked him. That's incredible. That really shows how the right approach can flip a potentially damaging situation right into a trust-building one.
Absolutely.
It makes you wonder, what was it about that initial setup, that framing, that made such a difference?
Well, like you said, it wasn't just what he said, was it? It was that mental preparation he gave his boss, that little heads up that important news was coming.
Right.
It's almost like you have to frame the picture before you actually hang it on the wall.
That's a great analogy.
And that right there is the first big insight we pulled from looking at all these situations, the power of framing before you inform.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not just hitting people cold with the information. You're preparing their minds, giving them a moment to adjust.
Let's try it. You give me some bad news 2 ways.
Okay. Version 1, direct. The meeting's canceled.
Okay. Feels abrupt. Now version 2.
Version 2, framed. Hey, I have an update about tomorrow's meeting, and I know this might be disappointing. Unfortunately, it has to be canceled due to a scheduling conflict.
Wow. Yeah, totally different feel. The second one, it gave me a second to brace myself, and it showed you actually considered how I might react. Much more considerate.
Right. It lands differently. So does this framing thing work for good news too?
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. Instead of just blurting out, you got the job,
Right.
you could say something like, I have some incredibly exciting news that I think is really going to make your day.
Building anticipation.
Exactly. It's still about setting the stage, managing the emotional delivery, even when it's positive.
That actually reminds me of something I went through last year. I had to tell my study group I got accepted into this program that they'd all applied for too. And unfortunately, they'd all been rejected.
Ooh, tricky. That is super delicate.
Yeah. I was thrilled, obviously, but also felt genuinely guilty, torn between my own excitement and knowing how much it meant to them.
So you're celebrating, but your success kind of highlights their disappointment. How did you handle that?
Well, I learned our second key insight the hard way, basically. Context shapes reception.
Okay, explain that.
My first instinct, my mistake, was to announce it during our regular study session. You know, everyone's there, still kind of raw from their own rejections.
Oh boy. I can just imagine the vibe in the room.
Yeah, the energy was, well, let's just say it was heavy, palpable. And my good news just landed like a lead balloon. It felt totally wrong.
So the timing and the setting basically amplified their disappointment and maybe made your news seem, I don't know, almost insensitive, even though you didn't mean it that way.
Exactly. I realized pretty quickly I needed a different approach. I needed to talk to each person individually.
Right.
Acknowledge their situation first. You know? Express genuine empathy for their disappointment before sharing my own news. The environment, the other person's emotional state, it dramatically changes how your message lands.
That's so insightful. It really underlines how emotional intelligence is just as important as the language itself when you're delivering news, good or bad.
Definitely.
Okay, let's break this down more. How about we role play this one? I'll be your study partner. I just got rejected, feeling pretty down, sensitive.
Okay, got it. I'm ready.
So what would be the less effective way to tell me your good news in that context?
Okay, let's effective. Hey, everyone. Guess what? I got into the program.
Oof. Yeah, that would sting. Okay, now the more thoughtful approach.
More thoughtful, maybe privately. Hey, can we talk for a sec? Look, first off, I know how disappointed you must be about the program decision. You worked incredibly hard, and honestly, you absolutely deserve the spot.
Okay, acknowledging my feelings first.
Yeah. I have some news I wanted to share, and I want you to hear it directly from me. I was accepted. And honestly, I'm feeling this real mix of excitement and, guilt, because I know how much this meant to all of us.
See, that approach immediately shows respect for my feelings. It acknowledges the whole complexity of it. You're happy, but you get why I might not be jumping for joy right then. It allows me to process it way better.
It really does seem to. And that flows right into our third big realization. Acknowledge the emotional reality. When you deliver news that impacts someone else, taking a moment to recognize and validate their likely emotional response. It's absolutely key. It shows you actually see them as a person. You get the human impact of your words.
That's a great way to put it. And it connects perfectly to something I learned from another student, Priya. She had to announce she was resigning to her team in London.
The resignation conversation. Always tricky.
Yeah, she was really worried about seeming ungrateful, or worse, burning bridges. That's a huge concern in many professional cultures, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how did she navigate that? How did she avoid causing friction?
Priya used a technique some people call the sandwich method.
Okay, the sandwich. Heard of it.
She started with appreciation, then delivered the news clearly, concisely, and then finished with a really firm commitment to making the transition smooth.
So bread, meat, bread.
Kind of. She said something like, I want to start by saying how much I've genuinely learned from this team and how incredibly grateful I am for the opportunities here over the past few years.
Okay, that's the first slice of bread. Appreciation.
I've made the difficult decision to accept a position elsewhere. My last day will be in 2 weeks.
Clear? Direct. That's the meat.
And I am completely committed to making this transition as smooth as possible. I'll do everything I can to wrap up my projects and ensure a good handover.
And the final slice. Commitment to a smooth exit. That's brilliant.
Yeah, she honored the relationships, was totally clear about her decision, but crucially, she showed she understood the impact and took responsibility for the consequences, the handover of the transition.
That's masterful, really. She respected the impact of her news, even though it was bad news for the team, in a way. And it ensures people know what happens next.
Exactly. Which brings us neatly to our fourth and final key insight for today. Always couple news with next steps.
Yes. This is so important.
Whether it's good news or bad news, people's immediate reaction is often, okay, so what happens now? They need direction, clarity.
That's absolutely true. The uncertainty can often feel worse, more unsettling than the news itself.
Right. Let's try this one with a role play, too. You're my English teacher.
Okay. Teacher mode on.
And I need to tell you that I have to drop out of our advanced conversation class because, honestly, it's just too difficult for me right now.
Okay. I'm ready to hear this potentially difficult news. What's the less effective way you might approach me?
Less effective. I'm quitting your class. It's too hard.
Okay. Short, blunt, leaves me wondering a lot. Now, how about a more effective approach? One that includes those crucial next steps.
Okay, more effective. Hi, I wanted to talk about my situation in the advanced class. I've realized I've been struggling quite a bit to keep up with the pace, and I think, honestly, I'm not quite ready for this level yet.
Okay. Acknowledging the reality. Good.
So I've decided it would be best for me to step back to the intermediate class for a while to build a stronger foundation.
Presenting a solution. Makes sense.
I was hoping maybe we could discuss the best way to time this transition, and perhaps if you had any advice on specific areas I should focus on before, maybe trying the advanced class again in the future.
See the difference. That second version acknowledges the challenge, explains the why, presents a clear solution moving back a level, and then, crucially, asks for guidance on what comes next. The transition, future preparation.
Right. It turns what could be just a negative I quit conversation into something much more collaborative, like we're solving a problem together.
Exactly. And before we wrap up this section, I just want to stress something here. These skills, this framework,
Yeah.
it's not just about being polite or, dodging conflict.
No, it's deeper than that.
It's fundamentally about building trust, maintaining strong relationships, even when things get tough. What do you see as the long-term payoff for someone who consistently applies these ideas?
I think it's profound, really. When you can deliver difficult news with grace, and when you can celebrate good news with sensitivity, you become someone people trust implicitly, someone they genuinely want to work with, someone they respect. These aren't just communication tactics. They are real leadership skills, and they work across any language barrier because they show your character.
Well said. And speaking of language, this is where we get really practical because we promise some essential phrases you can use right away in these kinds of conversations.
Yes. Let's give people some tools they can use this week.
Okay, conversation navigators, listen up. Here are some key phrases for breaking news like a pro. First one, I need to share some challenging news.
Okay, I like that. Challenging news.
Yeah, it's gentle, but it's firm. It prepares someone for bad news without being overly alarming like, I have bad news. It signals you're aware it might be tough to hear.
Got it. What's next?
Next, I want to be transparent about.
Transparency. Always good.
Instantly builds trust, projects honesty, tells the other person, look, I'm being open here, not hiding anything. Really good for workplace situations, reporting issues, giving honest updates.
Okay, makes sense. Another one?
How about, I have an update that I think will disappoint you, or I have an update that I think will excite you.
Directly naming the likely emotion.
Exactly. It frames the news by acknowledging the probable impact right up front. Shows emotional intelligence, gives the listener that moment to prepare mentally.
Okay. What about those complex situations like your study group example?
Right. When your good news might be someone else's bad news or just complicated feelings all around, try, I'm feeling a mix of emotions about this.
Acknowledging the nuance.
Yes. It validates the tricky emotional reality for both you and maybe the listener too. Shows you get that it's not simple.
And finally, you mentioned next steps.
Yes, the crucial one. Let's discuss the next steps.
Simple, but powerful.
Super powerful. It immediately shifts the focus from just delivering the news to finding solutions together. Shows you're not just dumping the info and running, you're ready to work on what comes next. Remember, everyone, the right phrases can genuinely turn difficult conversations into opportunities to build trust.
That's fantastic. So we've covered this great 4-step framework. We've given you some really powerful phrases. Now it's time for you to put these skills into action.
Exactly. So here is your personal communication challenge for this week. Think about a conversation, maybe one you've been putting off.
We all have them.
We do. Maybe it's sharing disappointing news, maybe it's sensitive good news. This week, we challenge you. Plan that conversation, and then actually have it, using our 4-step approach.
Quick recap of the framework. 1, frame before you inform.
2, consider the context, timing, and setting matter.
3, acknowledge the emotional reality, validate feelings.
And 4, always provide next steps, what happens now.
These steps really will guide you, help you feel more confident, more in control, even when it's tough.
And hey, we want to help you even more. We've created something special just for this deep dive.
Oh yeah, the phrase book.
Exactly. You can download our Difficult Conversations phrase book, check the description, It's got 40 essential phrases for both good and bad news, plus some ready-to-use conversation templates for common work and personal situations.
That's super useful. And we genuinely want to hear how it goes for you. Leave us a comment. Tell us about that challenging conversation.
Yeah, did using these techniques make a difference? What surprised you about how the other person reacted? We'd love to know.
And if today's deep dive really clicked for you, if you realize that, hey, these difficult conversations can actually strengthen relationships when you handle them intentionally,
Then you know what to do. Subscribe, follow, share. We're here every week, diving deep into communication insights that help you build both your English skills and your emotional intelligence.
just remember, everyone, being able to navigate these challenging conversations, especially when it's not your first language. That's not just a language skill, it's a profound life skill.
Absolutely. These moments, the ones that feel vulnerable, that require honesty, that's where real connection happens. It's where your character shines through, where relationships get truly built.
And whether you're sharing a triumph or delivering a disappointment, just having the courage to communicate authentically in English, that shows incredible strength and growth. Your conversations don't need to be perfect.
No, definitely not perfect, just honest, thoughtful, and kind.
And every single difficult conversation you manage with grace. It just builds your confidence muscle for the next one. So get out there, trust yourself, communicate with heart.
Remember, how you deliver news really does reveal who you are and can deepen your connections. Until next time, keep growing, keep communicating.
And keep taking your deep dive.